Good afternoon. I'm Cindy Hart, Program Specialist of the Licensing Department for TABC. Before we get started, I will give you a few moments to review our disclaimer. The chat feature, located at the bottom of your window, will be enabled at the end of the presentation. Please save your questions until that time. For future reference, this presentation will be available on YouTube. Let's begin. Online license and permit renewals. Today's general overview will include requirements to renew your license or permit, accessing TABC online services, renewing your license or permit online, and submitting payment for your online renewal. Texas law requires you to renew every 2 years from the date the license or permit was issued. The law does provide a 30-day grace period to renew after the expiration date of your license or permit, in which you may file a renewal instead of going through the original application process. However, you may not operate until your renewal application is received, along with the required renewal fees and late fee. If you fail to file your renewal prior to your expiration date or within the 30-day grace period, you will be required to reapply and cannot resume business operations until your original application is approved and your license or permit is issued. As a courtesy, TABC will mail a postcard reminding you it is time to renew. Here is an example. The postcard is mailed approximately 45 days prior to the expiration date of your permit. In addition to the postcard, you will also receive an email notification. Our online portal may be accessed from our homepage at www.tabc.texas.gov. Select Online Services, then click the green Licensing button. For our purposes today, we are going to assume you are a new user. New users click the Register Now button. Step-by-step instructions will display. At the end of the instruction page will be a link to Register Now. The Register Now button will direct you to the Public Services main menu. To register, click the registration link located under General Services. For future reference, the registration instructions and instructions for adding an authorized representative are also provided on the screen. The license or permit holder must complete the registration. For example, if your permit is held by a corporation, the president or other officer of that corporation must complete the registration. The officer must register using his personal information, Social Security number, date of birth, and actual email address. Once registered, the officer may designate an authorized representative to renew their license or permit. This may be anybody. The authorized representative must also complete the online registration. After clicking Registration, the user registration window is displayed. If you have a Social Security number on file with TABC, you must answer yes. This information is used for verification purposes only. Next, the user registration window is displayed. You must complete all fields marked with a red asterisk. Enter the security characters and click Next. The preview registration window is displayed. All licenses and permits held by the officer will be displayed under Related Licenses. Answer the identification question and click Save. If your license and permits are not displayed and the information entered is correct as shown, click Cancel. You will need to call the number provided to verify our records are correct. When your completed registration is saved, a temporary password will be emailed to you. Here is an example of the email you will receive. Your user ID and temporary password is provided. A link will also be provided, returning you to the main menu where you may log in. Once you have successfully changed your password, the main menu will display. From the main menu, you can complete the following: renew your permit, designate an authorized representative, pay for completed applications. To add an authorized representative, click the Authorized Representative link under Functions. The Authorized Representative list window will display. From the screen, you will have the option to add or delete an authorized representative. Before you add an authorized representative, you will need the authorized representative's email address. The Authorized Representative Add window will display. In the User ID field, enter the authorized representative's email address and click Find. Permissions may be given to the authorized representative to manage license or permits. Selecting All will give the authorized representative access to all license and permits held. To assign specific license or permits, check Selected. If you check a selected option, you must check the box next to the license or permits you want the authorized representative to manage. After making your selections, click Save. You may designate as many authorized representatives as necessary. On the next few screens, you will learn how to renew your license or permit. From the main menu, log in by entering the user ID. This will be the email address you used to register. Then enter your password. Click on the license or permit number link. Then click Renew Permit under Applications. Your permit alpha code will be displayed here. The introduction window will display. It is important that you do not close or click your back browser during the renewal process. Click Next. When your completed renewal is submitted, you will receive a confirmation email with a summary of your application. Here is an example of the email in the application summary. Your application is not complete until payment is received. If payment is not received prior to your expiration date, a late fee will be assessed. Or worse, your permit may expire. Once your application is submitted, the fee and summary window will display. If you are renewing one license or permit, select Pay Now. If you are renewing multiple license or permits, select Pay Later. This option will allow you to make one payment for multiple renewal applications. When you select the Pay Now, the online application payment screen will display. Here you will have the option to pay by credit card or ACH. If your company has a debit block on their account, you will need to provide them with TABC's vendor ID prior to submitting payment by ACH. TABC's vendor number is provided on the screen. No additional fee is assessed for an ACH payment. However, if you choose to pay by credit card, Texas.gov will charge 2.75% of the total due. Once the payment option is selected, you will be directed to Texas.gov's website. Here you will enter your payment information. Do not close or click your back browser while your payment is being processed. Once payment has been processed, the online application payment success window will display. Here's an example of the online payment summary. A copy will also be emailed to you. You will need to print this document and post it at your location until your license or permit is received in the mail. This concludes our presentation, in which we have learned the requirements for renewing license and permits, how to access TABC's online services, renewing your license and permit online, and how to pay for your online renewal. The chat feature has now been enabled for questions. Is there any way in the future, I believe they're saying, that the name of the company appears on the licenses on the web? We're looking to upgrade our online services, but I don't know when that's going to happen. As of right now, the answer would be no, but probably the next phase we would be looking at upgrades and making it a little bit user-friendly. Okay, what happens when an entity sells out totally? How do new officers get to online? Okay, in the event that you have officers that change on a permitted entity, you should report it to TABC and make the necessary changes. You will not be able to renew online until we have added those new officers and upgraded our records. So if you did do a change of officers close to renewal, I suggest you do print out a paper renewal and file it with the appropriate change form. If you're out of state, if you're in the state, you should contact your local TABC office and they could guide you through that process. I have a question. If we have several accounts, why won't they appear at one time? You should see all the accounts held by that corporation under your login. If you have missing accounts or missing permit numbers that aren't showing, there's probably a reason for that. Either it's a data entry error, you need to call TABC, or send an email to licensing@tabc.texas.gov and we can look into it. But you should see all permits held by that officer or that corporation, or the registered officer, I should say. Okay. The questions, you have different licenses from different officers in one user. So say you have several licenses, or you're a licensing service that have several clients. Each permit is held by different entities. An officer from each entity would need to complete the registration and add you to their account. So every officer needs to add you to their registered account. I want to thank everybody for watching TABC Talks, Online Renewals and Registration. Recommendations for future topics may be emailed to stakeholders@tabc.texas.gov. You are important to us. Please take time to complete our brief survey. We would love to hear from you.